Hello everyone, Ella here. I am just going to share this, sing a little, ba-da-da. Give you guys a chance to find out where I'm going and what I'm doing. And remember, if you are watching this anywhere but the Author Like a Boss group or page, come on over. Okay. Hi, it's me, Ella. And I don't know. I want to check one more thing. I think the daylight savings may have messed with my notifications. Checking. Nope, it's here. Okay, good. Okay, so. Okay, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please give me an emoji or a like or a hello. Hello, Anne. So this is Ella from Author Like a Boss, and I am here today to talk to you about what to put on your author website. Hi, Michelle. Okay, what to put on your author website. Ooh. Okay, so no matter what you write, if you're going to Author Like a Boss, you need to have an author website. Building an author website is the best way for your ideal fans to consistently know where to find you and what's going on in your writing world, your book world, your, exciting worlds. Hi. Okay. Yeah, that's why this month I'm talking to you all about how to make your author website for newbies and everyone else. So no matter where you're at with your author website, you will get some good info, especially today. Okay, so who has thought about making a website was like, but I don't know what to put on my author website. Like, what am I supposed to put on there? Like, I want to, but then I think about what to put on there and I get stuck. How many people has that happened for? Or you're like, okay, so I got my books, I've got my about, but how do I do it in a way that looks good? Or how do I do it in a way that appeals to people? Or what do I do? Has this happened to you guys? Go ahead and let me know on a 1 to 10. 1 to 10 if this has ever crossed your mind. I'm looking. Okay. So today we're talking about what to put on your author website, and we're going to talk about 3 things and go into a little more detail about each of them. 10, right? I know. Hi, and I know it can be really challenging sometimes. You're like, but what? Am I really that interesting? It feels like doing a resume, kind of. I feel like when you sit down to your resume and like, okay, I have to talk good about myself. Eek. I think it's especially hard for women, but not today, not after today, because today you're going to know exactly what you need to put on it. And it's going to be easier than you think and more fun and exciting and inspiring. Okay, so we're going to talk about today newsletter sign up, basic pages, like what to put up, and we're going to go into building around your world, which you will know about later, but it's the most important and fun part. Okay, so if this sounds good to you guys, give me a yes, it sounds good to me, or a heart, or a thumbs up, or something along those lines. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just jump into this information. So the first thing that you need to put on your author website, the first thing is your newsletter sign-up form. Okay. Now, why do I say this is so important? Okay. Oh, Anne says marketing is fun. I'm pinning that. Pin comment. Okay. You need your newsletter sign-up form, you guys. Why? Because you need people to be able to sign up, to be regularly notified when you have stuff coming up. So I have actually been starting doing interviews for the Author Like a Boss podcast that's coming out at the end of the month. But what's been really fascinating is every single person that I interview, every single successful author says they're the same thing. The newsletter is the most important thing that has guaranteed their success. And so where do you want to put this newsletter sign up form? You want to put it on the homepage. You want to have it be a pop-up. You want it to be on every single post. You want it to be on every single page. You want it to be all over the site. Now, it doesn't have to look exactly the same in every spot, but you want it to be all over. Now, why? Why do you think? Because it can seem like a little bit overdone when you're putting the code in, or you're like, okay, I'm putting it here, here, here. This seems like a lot. And the reason is people are going to be browsing your site, okay? And they're not going to necessarily put their information in as soon as they see the first pop-up or the first invitation to join the newsletter. So they might browse around and look at a few blog posts, look at some of your books, and it might be a little while before they say, you know what, I do want to be on this author's newsletter. It might not be this instantaneous thing like you want it to be, and so if they do, if they're like 5 pages in or 6 pages in and they browsed around a little bit, you don't want them to have to go, well, where was that author newsletter sign up form? And they have to back, or if it was a pop-up, they're never going to find it because it's not going to pop up again for a little while. Like, you need it to be super easy for them to sign up right when they have the inclination. So it's not too much. It's not too much to have it on every page because you're doing them a service so that when they do sign up, they can just easily do it. And they don't have to like search around the site for finding it. Where is that author newsletter sign up? I did want to get a freebie. Okay. Or I do want to know when this next book comes out. Okay. So that's why it's so important to have it on every page. So does that make sense to you guys? Does that make you feel a little better about having author newsletter sign up forms all over your site? It's not because you're being like salesy, sleazy. You're doing it actually as a service for those people who do want to know when your next book comes out, and not having them have to search through your site like, where is it? Okay, does that make sense? I just wanted to know. Okay, so just so you know, you guys, if this is something you need help with, or you're like, I still need help putting newsletter sign up widgets, marketing's finding your friends and peeps. Yes, it is, Barbara. Okay, so if you need help with this, or you're like, you just want to find out more, or you want to learn how to author like a boss with Megan and I, we have an Author Like a Boss training. So go ahead and keep an eye out for that. Okay, so the second talking point is basic pages, like just the necessary. These are the ones that you need to go. Like, this is topic number 2, pages. So what pages do you need? And I really want to encourage people, especially if you're first getting started, and especially for navigatability. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. Make your site easily navigatable, easy to navigate. Let's just keep that simple too, is not to have too many pages. So I think the basic pages that you need, and they're not that hard to make, is your home page. Obviously, that's the home page. Your front page, the first page people see. Then you need your about page. So it'll be about you, about the author. And Megan has some amazing formulas for writing your about page in a way that makes it snazzy, but also informative and interesting. You want to have a page for your books. Okay, so book or books. And even if you don't have a book out yet, you still want to have that page, because you can always just have a blurb and a coming soon, an opportunity for people to sign up for the newsletter. You should have a contact page, a way for people to reach you. And you should have a blog page. And the reason you want to have a blog is because for organic searches, Google and things like this, they really like you to have fresh content every now and again because they know people really like fresh content. So it helps with your organic search engine optimization. But like we said before, and like I'll be talking again next month, you definitely want, I talked a couple months ago, and next month I'm going to refresh. Your blog content and your newsletter content can be the same, which so like, yes, double thumbs up because you can multi-purpose it. You don't have to do multiple. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Okay, so those are the basic pages that you should have. Your home page, your about, page for your books, whether they are out or not, a blog, and a contact so people can reach you. And the contact page, you guys, guess what should be on the contact page besides a contact form? Newsletter sign up. Okay, so those are the basic pages that you need to get started. Now, does that make sense, you guys? You don't have to go crazy wild. Those are the best. Okay. The next thing, this is my favorite thing that I'm going to talk about for everybody who's like, I don't know what to put on my author website, okay, is building your author website around your world or worlds in your book. Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of writers get stuck on the website because it seems like tech, and they're like, okay, what do I put up there? But what the best successful self-published authors have done is actually built their website around, they have those basic pages that we just talked about, but then they also go around with the worlds. Okay, so the world, and Cassandra, I see Cassandra says, I struggle with blog content. This will help as well. So you build your site around the worlds. Now, what does that mean? The worlds in your book. So we're not talking about your world where you're talking about yourself as a writer. We're talking about the worlds in your book. And so what can this look like? This can look like character introductions. So if you have, once you've made those basic pages, you can have a page that's like worlds or characters or something like this. And once you do, you can go down a little bit and have character pages where you have images of your images of the characters plus little bios of the characters. But the bios are done in such a way that people are like, ooh. And the reason why building it around the worlds, your characters, and your setting is because for setting specifically, fantasy people and sci-fi love to know about a world. Okay, they're like, the world is actually like another character. And so if you can bring them in and get some images of like what it might look like, that appeals to them almost as much as the characters, because you're like, ooh, that world has this kind of alien or these kind of spaceships or unicorns or dragons. Dragons. Okay, so if you have an introduction to that, if you have the world, if you have your website is an extension of the worlds in your books, it should be easier for you to make because it's just like, oh, this is just like me writing the book, except for slightly different topics. You're still writing about your book, writing your book, but just slightly different format, but with that same creativity. Okay, it comes from that same creative space of like, ooh, I get to play with this. Okay, the reason why I love this so much is because, one, when you build your website around your world, it's easier for you as an author to create because it's just, again, that extension of what you're already doing in your books. Okay, so you're like, I'm going to write a little bit more about this character just in a slightly different context because you know the characters real well. So you're like, okay, or you can go browse through photos and be like, which character is this? Let me see which one looks like this, and play with some filters or apps and make an image of your character the way you see them in such a way that people will look at it and then also it will appeal to your potential readers. If you write romance and you find a hunky guy and you're like, this is Drew, and you're like, ooh, Drew. So this is the second point of why I love this, is it's appealing to readers as well. So Listen to this. So if they've already read your book and they loved it so much they came to your website, they will get to spend more time with those characters and in your fantasy world that you've created. Because if they loved your book so much, they were like, oh, I love this book so much, I need more. And they go to your website and they find more. You are just satisfying that urge that they're like, but I didn't want the book to end. And it did, but the interaction with those characters didn't have to, because you had some more on your website. If they haven't read your book before and they're just getting introduced to you and they somehow landed on your website because of some of the other videos that we're recommending of other places, and they get to your website and they're like, whoa, they start getting introduced to your characters in your world, but not enough that they know what the story is. And they sign up to your author newsletter and they buy your book because they're like, that world has a lot of dragons and some sexy guys in it. I'm buying that book, because pretty much for me, that is a guarantee must-have buy. So it's good regardless whether you have any books out or not. If you're trying to just appeal to readers for potential books that are coming out, you can still have an amazing author website, because you know the characters. Even if the book isn't done, you still know those characters and you still know the setting. So does this make sense to you? Because I've been talking a lot about it, but I'm super excited about it because it makes it so much easier and so much more fun for you guys. Okay. Also, I didn't know if I mentioned this. You can do this with any genre. And even if you have multiple series out, you just kind of divide it on your site. But you can do it with romance. You can do it with fantasy. Fantasy is real easy. But even with romance, you do it around, oh, is this romance set in Ireland? Ooh, and you can just set the scene for people. Okay. So does this make sense? For sure. Okay, awesome. I want to tell you guys, let's see. Carol says, how do you avoid copyright infringement stuff? That's why I always hesitate on posting pictures of my characters, because I don't know how to tell. There's enough, Carol, that's a good question. After a mistake that I had one time, I have a subscription to stock Adobe Photos, but you guys, we have a thing somewhere. We like to go to Pixabay and Pexels, and there's a few where you can find Creative Commons images. So Creative Commons is the license you want. You still got to be careful, because there's some people that are super scammy, and some people put up an image as Creative Commons, but they actually stole it from somewhere else. So you still are accountable. So do your double checking. But if you look for Creative Commons images, especially if you're not selling anything with them, you can usually just attribute the image to the author, or some of them are just, author free. You don't have to, the author, attribute them to the photographer. But some of them you don't even need to do that with. But Creative Commons is the license that you want. And then most places will tell you what you need to do. Do you need to attribute it or not? But because you're not selling anything on the images, it's not like, don't use them on your covers. But because you're just using them on your website as an image of somebody, you're a little bit safer because you're not selling anything with it. But yes, Creative Commons is usually the license you want if you haven't paid for it. But you can you can buy images like on Canva. The images are $1. So it's worth it to, if you find something and it's only $1, buy it and then feel safe. Okay. So we've gone through the 3 points. The first point is have a newsletter sign up on every single page. And if you weren't here for the beginning and you want to know why, watch this later, because it's not overbearing. It is convenient for the person when they decide they want to get on your newsletter. And I've read somewhere, or I heard somewhere, that it's like 7 times somebody has to see an invitation before they'll actually do it. So you have to have that newsletter sign up everywhere. and it's convenient for them because they're browsing around and they don't have to find it when they finally decide to join your newsletter. The number 2 thing is those basic pages, your home, about, blog, contact, and books. Okay, have those basic pages. And the third thing that we've talked about, what to put on your author website, is make your website about your worlds. So if you add a worlds page or a character page or something along these lines, make your website around your worlds. And I want you guys to go take action now, because there is an amazing author who has done this phenomenally. Like, it's just, I go to his website and I'm like, whoa, I want to hire whoever made that website for my world's website because it is awesome. Of course, you have to have the worlds first, but Jeff Wheeler, I'm putting the link in the chat. Jeff Wheeler, go look at his website for an amazing view of what worlds are. But warning, it has a musical intro, and you're not going to want to skip it because it's beautiful. But if you're at work, make sure you have earbuds or do whatever, like, it has a musical intro. So warning before you click on the Jeff Wheeler site. And for people, that's jeff-wheeler.com. Okay. So if you're worried about the logistics of this, anybody, or if you're like, but or you just want some accountability, or you need some help or assistance, please, you are welcome to come find out about the Author Boss Academy. I'm in there doing live calls for marketing help. Megan's in there helping with writing. We have video tutorials that are available 24/7, worksheets, a private Facebook group. So if you are interested in finding out more about the Author Boss Academy and working with Megan and I a little bit, you can come to, we have a weekly webinar, How to Author Like a Boss. And so that webinar, I'm going to give you the link to sign up for that if you want to find out more about the Academy, plus how to author like a boss. It is really good information. So I just put that link in there. Next week, next week in this month of websites, I am talking about what not to do, plus going through Q&A. So if you have any questions that we haven't answered, or you just joined the group and you missed the first couple and you have some questions about those videos from earlier this month, please come to next week's live. It's going to be what not to do with your author website, plus live Q&A. And if you want to get a reminder about when we're going live via Facebook Messenger, so you'll just get, if you just want a Facebook message about a minute or two before we go live, go ahead and click here. It's authorlikeaboss.com/notify. And if you click that button, you will get just a quick reminder on Facebook message that says, hey, Ella's about to go live with some marketing tips, or Megan's about to go live with marketing tips. You can unsubscribe from that anytime, but it's just kind of handy. So those are the things. Go check out Jeff Wheeler's site for website inspiration about having your website around your worlds. If you want to find out more about the Academy and find out how to author like a boss, come to our webinar. You can sign up for that at authorlikeaboss.com/how-to for how to author like a boss. And then next week, talking about what not to do on your author website and a Q&A, live Q&A. And if you want to get a reminder about that on your Facebook message, go to authorlikeaboss.com/notify. This is Ella here talking about author websites for one more week. And they're easier, you guys. They're easier than you think. And I'm happy to be here with you here in Author Like a Boss. Hugs and happy authoring.